Good evening, everybody, and welcome into college football here on ESPN. Tonight, we've got the Wake Forest Demon Deacons and the West Virginia Mountaineers in a Power 5 matchup here in Blacksburg, West Virginia. Number 7, Wake Forest comes in with a record of 2-0. West Virginia sitting at 1-0. Neither team has played a conference game to date. Wake Forest, of course, expecting to compete for a conference championship, if not a national championship. West Virginia not expected to make a lot of noise in the Big 12 this season based on some of the preseason polling, but with some breaks, things could go their way, and we could see them possibly compete for a Big 12 championship. Either way, we think they should be a bowl team. We're minutes away here from game time as the rain is falling here in West Virginia. So we'll see if the teams air it out or if they elect to play a little bit more conservatively here today. Let's get you set for college football action here at Milan Puskar Stadium. Captains out to meet for the coin toss at midfield. Looks like the Demon Deacons will receive here today as we are underway here with college football action. Watson's going to take this ball in at the 5. He's got a bit of a lane, only able to get out to around the 23, maybe 24-yard line. So the Deacons will come out here on offense, as they really finished off last week's game with the plum as they scored 41 points in 3 quarters. Of course, that was against a non-Power 5 squad. We'll see what they can do here today. Merritt under center. They go play action early as he dumps this one off to Bradford in the flat. Caleb Bradford, the fullback, only able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Merritt not electing to go deep that time. Again, the conditions here might lend themselves to some more dink and dunk. Perhaps the ball going to be kept on the ground a little bit more in this one. And both of these teams expected in the game plan this week. 2 wide receivers split out left as Merritt fires it over to Rich. Rich breaks away from one tackle, stiff arms another man, and he's going to go down to around the 40-yard line. Anthony Rich shaking off 2 tacklers early as the sophomore receiver picks up a first down. A few yards shy of midfield. Ball set up on the left hash. Once again, 2 receivers, this time 1 on either side of the formation. 1 tight end, 2 running backs here for the Deacons. Merritt under center, takes the snap, blitzes on for West Virginia. This one fired off to the right. Incomplete, first of the ball game for Merritt, as that'll bring up 2nd and 10 following the incompletion. West Virginia opening this ball game up. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. Of course, this time 2 linebackers in the nickel set. This one's handed off to Jamel Boyd. Picks up 5 yards on the 2nd down carry, as that brings the ball out to the 45, so it'll be 3rd and a long 5 for the Deacons. West Virginia's 49 is the yard line to gain, as once again the Deacons come out with 2 wide receivers. Merritt takes a snap. He fires over the middle. J.R. Ward has it, and he's going to pick up enough yards for a first down. 2nd of the ball game for the Deacons, and the standout tight end on this Deacon offense once again makes his impact known early with that first down pickup. 3 receivers. Harmon split out, slot to the right. Merritt takes a snap, slant route to Capps. Capps spin move. He goes to the outside. He's down the left sideline. Nobody to beat. And Ron Capps into the end zone. 49 yards on the touchdown reception. The true sophomore stuck his foot in the ground, able to take advantage of some poor footing by the defenders as he gets in for 6. As the Deacons open this game up with the firecracker as they lead it 7-0 following the touchdown strike. Go to the studio update as Ohio State, TCU in the big-time matchup early in the season. The Buckeyes able to take down the Horned Frogs by a score of 21-13, as I'm sure that will launch them up the polls, perhaps bring them into the top 3, depending on the results of some of the other ball games here today. Allen's kickoff is going to be back into the end zone as Wilson will take the knee, and the Mountaineers will get set for their first offensive drive of the game at their own 25. Drew Simpson and company coming out. Simpson didn't have a tremendous game last week. However, West Virginia was able to pick up the victory as they are looking to make some noise against a top 10 opponent here at home early in the season. Simpson takes a snap. He's looking for a man. He's got him off to the left. Hutchinson hauls it in. Marcus Hutchinson 13 yards on first down as Mountaineers will move quickly here on offense as we expected. And sticking with that, 4 receivers this time. Simpson option is going to be flung out to the right to Jacob Marshall. He's going to pick up 3 yards on that reception. So once again, no huddling here for the Mountaineers. Simpson takes a snap, 1-step drop, crossing route, finds Marshall. Marshall back-to-back receptions, this time 13 yards, and it's going to be enough to pick up a first down inside Wake Forest territory, now at the 45-yard line. Simpson takes a snap. It's going to be a first handoff to Collins. Collins not able to get anything as Tommy Gilmore, the standout defensive lineman for this Deacon front 7, able to stop him there. Simpson once again with the huddle, and no, Bolden's going to step in front. He's got an interception. He's down the left sideline. He gets a block, and he's going to the corner. He's going to get in for 6. Another touchdown this time. Brent Bolden, the freshman, steps in front of the Drew Simpson pass and takes it all the way 4-6 the other way. A big-time play here early in the ball game as Brent Bolden with a pick 6 for the Deacons, and that's not what you want to see. Now you're playing from behind early in the first quarter as the Demon Deacons take a quick 2-score lead just 3 minutes into this one. See head coach giving Brent Bolden some props. You had one of the freshmen here in this very young defensive backs group for the Demon Deacons, making his impact felt early in this one with the first defensive touchdown of. Wow, we have a break in the action. Let's go around the league, take a look at some of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA this season. Highlighted at the top by Buster Phillips and Jason Ward, pair of quarterbacks who have some elusive talents in that they both have a great arm and can hurt you on the ground. Buster Phillips, one of the favorites to go in the top 5 at the quarterback position at the end of the season. Let's get you back to the game. The season for this Wake Forest squad. And now they will very quickly be back out on the field as Simpson and the Mountaineers looking to go down and perhaps put some points on the board here in the second drive of the ball game for the Mountaineers. Bubble screen over to Hutchinson off to the right, just picks up 3 yards. As the senior quarterback's going to stick in there with some poise, we're sure. He's going to run their offense. Not going to change up too much here in the first quarter after that 1 interception. This time he's going deep, and he's got, no, he does not. Thought the receiver might have been able to drag his foot. Instead, came down out of bounds as that one will go as an incompletion. And will bring up the first 3rd down of the ball game here for the Mountaineers. 3rd and 7 now. This one, play action, pressure deep. Ball is launched by Simpson, and this one's going to be over the head of everybody. Thought DeMarcus Tate, the free safety, might have had a chance on that one. Instead, he just let it fall to the turf. Probably a smart decision there by the senior free safety, as now the Mountaineers are going to be forced to punt this ball away. Clean snap. The left-footed punter drills it out to around the 37. Watson, not a whole lot of room, as Joe Watson picks up just about 3 yards on that return, as Wake Forest would be set up with good field position, as there we see the result of their last drive. They were able to get chunk plays capped off by that 49-yard touchdown reception to Ron Capps last time out. We'll see what the Deacons want to do here on offense now with an early 2-score lead. Merritt under center takes the play-action snap. He looks downfield for J.R. Ward, who cannot haul it in after the contact. Nice play that time by the safety to jar that ball loose, as that'll fall to the turf as an incompletion here from Merritt. Deacons now going 2 wide, 2 tight ends to the right of the formation. Boyd in the backfield. He'll take the ball from the quarterback, and he'll be dragged down. Looks like he might have been pulled down by the face mask. As yes, indeed, that'll go 15 yards and an automatic first down. A mistake early in this ball game by the cornerback Charlie Sanders, as that'll push the Deacons all the way inside West Virginia territory. And this is a very dangerous situation for the Mountaineers, as they are at risk of going down 3 scores here in the first quarter. Offset formation here now for the Deacons, as this one's dumped off to Bradford in the flat. Bradford picks up 9 yards following the dump and run, as this will bring up a second and very manageable 1 yard. Bit of a long one, maybe 2 yards now that we're looking at the spot here. 2 tight ends once again. 4 down line with 3 linebackers for West Virginia. Ball handed off to Boyd in the backfield. He's got plenty of push up front. Picks up 5 yards for another first down for the Deacons. Their offense has really been rolling. West Virginia unable to counter very much so far. Just 2 incompletions for this Deacon offense despite the conditions. Now they go 4 wide set. Ward and Capps. As Merritt's going to find Rich. Rich breaks away, and he is going to get in for 6. Another touchdown for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. 3 so far here in the first quarter, as the West Virginia Mountaineers do not have an answer so far here in this ball game. Looks like the Deacons put on the correct cleats, as they are really able to find their footing here in the rain, while West Virginia looks a bit slow and a bit sluggish to the ball, as the extra point puts up the Deacons by a score of 21-0 still here in the first quarter. We got a break. We're looking at this one very closely. Florida State on the verge of a possible upset. Number 4 in the nation. They are tied with the Northern Illinois Huskies, and the Seminoles unable to break away in what many thought would be an easy victory. We'll keep an eye on that one and be sure to update you as that one finishes out. Meanwhile, the next kickoff will be taken in the back of the end zone once again, and the Mountaineers, they've really got to get something going here if they do not want this game to get out of hand. Still early in this ball game. Touchdown here could put them back into this one, but you do not want to go down 4 scores here in the first quarter. So we'll see if any adjustments are made by this Mountaineer coaching staff. 4 receivers out for the Mountaineers. A screen pass to Collins, dumped it off. Good catch and run, able to pick up 7 yards on that first down play. It sets him up for a 2nd and 3. Still, Mountaineers going with that no huddle style offense. So they stick in that 4 receiver set. Another screen pass here for the Mountaineers. This time, Collins able to pick up just 5 yards, but enough to pick up a first down. And Simpson now up to about 50 yards in this ball game. This time it's going to be a crossing route. Robinson had the ball, looks like, in his hands, but perhaps the slick conditions forced that one to drop to the turf, as that'll go as an incompletion. Once again, coming out 4 wide set here, 4 down linemen for the Deacons, just 1 linebacker. Simpson, 1 step drop, he's looking off to the left. This one Again, unable to haul it in. Looks like the receiver might have had a play on the ball. He was very close to the sideline. Looks like he might have been too focused on making sure his feet were in bounds and let that one fall. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10 once again. This time a draw play for West Virginia. Looks like they had the right call on as Collins able to rumble out for 15 yards on the 3rd and 10 play, and that's enough to pick up a first down and bring them inside Deacon territory. There's a little bit momentum here for West Virginia now. And it looks like the Deacons head coach is going to call a timeout, perhaps get his his defense to catch their breath a little bit. Of course, you always want to force a punt on 3rd down, and whenever a big gain like that is ripped off, it's a little bit demoralizing, so a good timeout that time by the Deacons coach. This pass by Simpson is way off the mark, and it looks like nobody was open, and even then it looks like the ball might have slipped out of his hands just a touch, as that'll bring up 2nd and 10 now. Only 5 receivers out for West Virginia. Simpson drops back. He's got Marshall over the middle, and his receivers just really having a tough time, perhaps having a little bit of trouble with the delivery on Simpson's behalf. Really tough to say. We've seen a number of drops here in the first quarter for West Virginia, and they've really got to get something going in the aerial game if they're going to have a chance to win this game. This time, a nice pitch and catch over to James Thomas along the sideline. Picks up 20 yards on a very critical 3rd down. Brings up first down, and West Virginia a few yards out of the red zone, as that was a big-time momentum shifter for this offense. And the screen pass here to Collins, but blown up in the backfield. Big play that time, but big number 96, Bill Snyder, the senior defensive tackle, able to cover that one out to the outside. Very rare display of athleticism by an interior lineman. Read that play from the get-go and able to hit the receiver basically as soon as he caught it. Again, a very nice play by the interior lineman. Simpson with a 3-step drop. This time, it looks like it's going to be picked off. This time it's Bolden once again. Brent Bolden chased from behind. The freshman cornerback. 2 interceptions here in the first quarter. The first one went for 6. This time, another excellent play on the ball as he saw the receiver sit down in his zone, and he just fired off the ball as soon as the ball left Simpson's hand. And 2 interceptions for the freshman cornerback. A big-time play here on defense. Sets up the Demon Deacons with excellent field position, about a half yard away from midfield, as this ball is going to be handed off to Jamel Boyd to the outside. Picks up 5 yards on that first down carry, as the Demon Deacons really looking to put this one out of reach perhaps in the first quarter, as they lead by a score of 21-0 with about 2 minutes left to go in the first. Misdirection this time to Boyd, who's got another nice push up front by this offensive line. Picks up 6 yards on that that second down carry, and puts the ball out at the 40-yard line inside West Virginia territory. Merritt this time with 2 running backs. Play action, scrambles out to the right. Couldn't find anybody open and just pitches that one out of bounds. And that'll bring up 2nd and 10. A smart play that time by the junior. Didn't see anybody open downfield. No reason to force anything when you've got a comfortable lead, even if it is in the first half. Once again, 2 tight ends this time. 2 receivers both split out left. Ball handed off to Boyd. Little space to the outside, and this one's going to be on the turf. Boyd coughs it up as Kelly is going to recover that one. And that might be the momentum shift that the West Virginia Mountaineers might need to get back in this ball game, as Boyd puts the ball on the turf. Recovery by the defensive lineman, and the Mountaineers have the ball back over. And now hold on, looks like we're getting word that this one might be looked at in the booth. We'll see. Looking at that view, kind of tough to see. This one not great either. Tough to see when the ball came loose, although looking at that, it might be And now we're hearing down from the refs as they say his knee was down. So a lucky break, an unlucky break for the Mountaineers. But for the Deacons, they'll retain possession. And now they'll have a chance to pick up a first down. After the reversal this time, Merritt under center, 2 tight ends right, 2 receivers both split out left. Merritt takes a snap. He's got a man wide open. That is Ross. Ross stumbling down the sideline. He's fighting for extra yards, and he's going to get in for 6. Joe Ross able to fight his way down the field, and he picks up enough. I say he broke the plane, the freshman tight end. First time we've called his name today. A very excellent play to shoulder his defender all the way down the sideline, and he picked up another touchdown as the Deacons now lead this by a score of 28-0 here in the first quarter. So we go back to the studio. A big-time upset here in the first few weeks of the season. The NIU Huskies take down number 4 Florida State. And if you're the Seminole fans, you got to be questioning what went on there, as you would have chalked this one up as an easy victory. Big-time performance by Walker, threw for 3 touchdowns. As again, the Huskies able to take down the Seminoles in overtime by a score of 38-31. As number 4 goes down here in week 3 of the season. Wow. There we see some of the offense. West Virginia not having a ton of difficulty moving the field, but they have not been able to capitalize. And 2 turnovers will really do that for you, as they've really got to stop turning the ball over to this Deacon defense. As we'll see if the Mountaineers can pick up anything, as Drew Simpson looking to get back on track. Following a decent start, but ever since that first interception, it looks like he's been a little bit rattled here. Simpson now takes 3-step drop. This one driven over the middle of the field. James Thomas, 23 yards on second down. A big pickup brings them down to around the 48-yard line. As if you're the West Virginia coaching staff, I'm sure you're going to want to pick up some points here before the end of the first quarter. This one's going to be handed off to Collins. Good push up front by the Mountaineer offensive line. Collins picks up 8 yards on that first down carry. And the Mountaineers across midfield. 4 wide once again here for the Mountaineers. 3-step drop. This one's going to be, no, not hauled in by Marshall. Had it for a second. Pass a little bit behind him, as that one falls incomplete. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and very critical 3rd down and 2 here just in the first quarter of this ball game. Simpson 5 wide. Sparks had some pressure. This one's going to be hauled in by James Thomas. 3 yards, he needed 2, so give him the first down. It's a crucial pickup for this Mountaineer offense. Gives them a fresh set of downs. Again, Simpson, this time he's going to be drilled in the backfield. Drew Simpson unable to find a man downfield. A bit of a pressure sack that time, as Kevin Sparks, the senior defensive end, really put the lick on him. Looks like Tommy Gilmore also had some pressure, so neither tackle really able to hold up that time, as pressure got to the senior quarterback. And now we might see the last play of the half here, as just 8 seconds here left in the first quarter. Simpson looking downfield. This time he's got a strike to Robinson. Robinson couldn't hold on, as once again the sideline pass. Simpson unable to put that ball in the best location. But it's another case of the drops by these receivers here today, as now the Mountaineers are really behind the 6th, 3rd and 18. This one shot out to the right. Green able to haul it in. Maurice Green able to get upfield a little bit, but 4th down is going to bring it up, as that one's going to end the first quarter, as the Wake Forest Demon Deacons really jumping out in this one, as they lead the Mountaineers by a score of 28-0. Here at the end of the first quarter, West Virginia taking on Wake Forest in Blacksburg. Of course, the big game earlier today, Ohio State took on TCU in an early season top 10 matchup. Ohio State was able to pull out the victory by a score of 21-13. They had the lead going into the fourth quarter, and TCU would not score in the last 10.5 minutes of that ball game. So Ohio State putting their stamp on this one early in the season. Anyway, let's head back out to the game. And we're back here in Blacksburg as the Wake Forest Demon Deacons and West Virginia Mountaineers do battle. Here at the start of the second quarter, the Mountaineers forced to punt this ball away. As there you see the score again, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons leading by 4 scores here early in this one. They got out to an early lead by a 49-yard strike to sophomore receiver Ron Capps, and a pick six by freshman cornerback Brent Bolden have allowed the Demon Deacons to really get out to a tremendous lead here in the first half of the ball game. As this first down carry goes to Jamel Boyd, he picks up 8 yards on the first down carry, following the touchback. Haven't had much to say here for this Mountaineer defense. They have not been able to put up much of a fight here so far in this game, as this one is going to be thrown and hits. Looks like Caleb Bradford was the intended target, as they received Deshaun Merritt with 3 passing touchdowns in that first quarter. Ever since that first quarter of last week's game where you had multiple interceptions, Merritt has been on fire. 3rd and 2 here, 3 receivers. This one's going to be fired off to J.R. Ward, the tight end, as he's going to pick up around 10 yards on that 3rd and 2. And that brings up another Deacon first down, as their offense is really humming here today, despite the conditions. 21 personnel once again for the Deacons. Bradford moves left to right across the formation. This one's going to be play action. Merritt now drills the ball deep, and it's going to be intercepted by Sanders. Looks like he was going for Larson, Bobby Larson, on that crossing route. Bit of a mistake this time for Deshaun Merritt, as Charlie Sanders, able to high point that ball as they receive the replay, and perhaps that gives West Virginia a bit of momentum back, as the previous fumble recovery that they had in the first quarter was overturned following a booth review. So the first turnover of the ball game for the West Virginia defense, as they'll pick it up on their own 35-yard line. Here's Simpson now. Simpson unable to find anybody downfield. The second sack of the ball game once again by Kevin Sparks, as Simpson is going to be dragged down in the backfield for a 7-yard loss, as that puts the West Virginia Mountaineers offense behind the sticks once again here, unable to get much going following the first couple of drives here in this ballgame. This one is going to be a crosser route to Thomas. James Thomas picks up 11 yards and sets up a 3rd and very manageable 6 yards. Thomas has been the favorite target for Simpson here today. Already 4 catches in today's ballgame, up over 50 yards. So now again the Mountaineers in that no-huddle style offense. Hutchinson shifts closer into the line, as looks like we're going to have another screen pass. This one's going to be taken in by Collins, and a nice play by the linebacker. That senior linebacker Eddie Jennings couldn't quite bring down Mark Collins, but able to shove him out of bounds and pick up a 4th down for this Deacon defense. And once again, the Mountaineers forced to punt this ball away. This one's going to be taken in by Watson, calling for the fair catch. As there again we see good offense once again by both squads. Of course, the West Virginia Mountaineers unable to keep control of the ball. 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions, both to freshman cornerback Brent Bolden, and the Mountaineers not able to capitalize on any of their offensive drives here so far. Play action once again here for the Demon Deacons. This ball is going to be taken down by Merritt, as he's going to scramble upfield. Could have thrown that ball away. Instead, he uses his speed to pick up about 4, maybe 5 yards on that first down scramble. And we'll bring up 2nd and 6 here on the right hash. Trips off to the right here for the Deacons as the Mountaineers playing with, looks like four linebackers. As this one's drilled over down to Larson. Looks like he was the intended target. Charlie Sanders able to make a play on that ball, knock it down towards the sideline, as that'll bring up third and now about 6 yards here for the Deacons. Caps in slot to the left. J.R. Ward, the tight end, on the right side of the formation. Merritt under center. 3-step drop, looking, can't find anybody, and he gets tangled up with his left tackle's legs. Looks like he might have had a lane to the outside. Instead, runs into the back of the feet of his lineman, and he goes down. As that brings up fourth down now. Unfortunate situation for the Deacons as they are forced to punt the ball away for the first time here in this ballgame. Taken in by Wilson. Wilson able to pick up 7 yards on that return. Ryan Wilson, first time we've said his name here today. As the Mountaineers will be set up with good field position, just about a yard shy of their own 40-yard line. And again, we've said it a few times, but the Mountaineers really need to start making something happen here on offense if they got to get back into this game. Snyder finds Collins out of the backfield as he picks up not quite enough for a first down. We'll call it second and a short one, as they need to pick up around the 49. They're about the ball at about the 48 and a half. Play action once again, this time fired over the middle, going to fall incomplete for Drew Simpson. Another incompletion here in today's ball game, and now to bring up third and inches for the Mountaineers. And we've said it a few times, but now it really rings true. They had a forced the punt, now it's third and short. For the Mountaineers, you really got to get this first down, as looks like Wilson will get it, as he was able to avoid Kevin Sparks coming off the edge, and he picks up 9 yards on that option play. Enough for a first down and inside Wake Forest territory. 4-receiver set here for Simpson. Another draw play. Collins able to break out of one tackle, going the wrong way as he spun that one, tried to reverse field, but a nice play that time by Brian Clancy, one of the other senior linebackers on this defense, as he was able to pick up the scraps following some good pressure by the defensive line in pursuit on that rushing play for the Demon Deacons. Time 11 set, one tight end, one running back, both to the left side of the formation. Now Johnson, the tight end, moves left to right across the field. Simpson looking. He got Collins out of the backfield. This time Collins unable to haul it in, as that ball falls incomplete. Ball looks like it hit off his hands, but that'll bring up third and now 11. A 38-yard line is the yard to gain if you're West Virginia. Two running backs here. Another screen play for the Mountaineers. This time Collins takes it in, as Jennings with a nice play coming all the way across the formation, able to shove out Mark Collins for the second time here in this second quarter. And that's going to bring up fourth and 11 in a bit of a no-man's zone. If you're West Virginia, you're forced to punt this ball away. Watson back deep around his own 10-yard line. This one's going to be a little bit off the side of the punter's foot, as they will spot this ball, waiting for the official signal, around the 23-yard line. So not a terrible kick by any means. Well, if you're the Mountaineers, you would have liked to see that ball pinned in a few yards deeper. But the defense is set up in okay field position. First down carry is going to be handed off to Boyd, as Boyd, with a nice move, he fights with Thomas, as he's going to pick up 9 yards. As Boyd is nearing 50 yards here in the first half of this game here today. Everybody in tight here once again for the Demon Deacons. Ball is going to be handed off to Boyd once again, as he's only able to pick up 2 yards, but that 2 yards enough for a first down for the Deacons. As we approach around 3 minutes to go here in the first half of football. As the Deacons leading by a score of 28-0. 3 receivers to the left here for the Deacons. Merritt takes a snap, fires it to Larson. Larson's first reception of the ball game goes for 6 yards. as the junior receiver has not made much of an impact, although he has not had to so far in this ball game. As the Deacons once again come out in a 2 tight end set. Merritt hands the ball off to Tucker this time. Anthony Tucker, first time we've called his name here today. He's got a couple of touchdowns on the season, does the sophomore running back, as he's going to pick up enough yards for a first down as the Deacons move ever closer towards West Virginia territory. Ball now on the 45-yard line. Bradford, the fullback, moving left to right. Merritt with a play-action play once again. He's chased from behind as a bad decision by Merritt is not going to go punished. As that ball could have been, probably should have been intercepted. And now we get an interesting penalty here as they're going to call holding on Jamel Boyd. Interesting penalty flag here by the refs, as that was a play-action play. Not quite sure how you can call a hold on the running back as he's getting tackled in the backfield. Either way, it's going to push the Deacons back 10 yards. It's going to be first and 20. So ball's going to be thrown to Caps. He's going to pick up 5 yards. His second reception of the ball game. Of course, that first one went 49 yards. It was the opening touchdown of this ball game for the Demon Deacons. That's going to bring up 2nd and 15 now. 4 receivers here for the Deacons. Merritt takes a snap. He's going to fire it once again to Caps. Caps, another reception here on this drive. This one goes for 8 yards. So give him 13 yards on this drive alone, and that brings up 3rd and 7. If you're West Virginia and you're thinking about calling a timeout, looks like the coaching staff will not do that, as the Deacons need 7 yards here to pick up a first down. Merritt takes a snap, and Merritt's going to be drilled in the backfield. A good play off the edge by this West Virginia defensive line as they sack Merritt for the 2nd time in this ball game, and now the Deacons forced to punt this ball away. This one drilled out about the 15-yard line, taken in by Wilson, as he's not going to call a fair catch. Instead, runs over the gunner. Nice return that time by Ryan Wilson, although only 9 yards to show for it, as it'll set up the Mountaineers 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. As we have a bit of an update from the studio, we're hearing now, from the sideline. Looks like Merritt might have gotten banged up on that play. He'll be back in, though. It is being told to us from the sideline. As here James Thomas hauls this one in for 8 yards. 2nd timeout of the half for the Mountaineers, as it is 2nd and 2. Ball now at the 34-yard line. As once again the Mountaineers in 4 wide set. This one taken by Simpson. He's got Robinson over the middle. Robinson makes a nice move. He cuts it up. Philip Robinson, 18 yards on that reception. Now across midfield for West Virginia, as they try to put up some points here before the end of the half. Once again, no huddle style offense for this Mountaineer group, as this one's going to be intercepted once again. Brent Bolden's got 3 of them here in the first half. An unbelievable display by this freshman cornerback. Brent Bolden has intercepted Drew Simpson 3 times in just the first half here in today's ball game. He is having an outstanding game here for the Demon Deacons. 2 timeouts still for Wake Forest. 42 seconds. That's plenty of time to go downfield and perhaps try to kick a field goal, if not get into the end zone. As here now the Deacons, Caps is going to haul that one in. Another reception by Merritt back in this ball game. But another drive here now available for points for this Demon Deacon offense. As that quick strike to Caps picks up a first down. Now just inside West Virginia territory. Merritt with the hurry-up offense. This one's going to be dumped out to Boyd in the flat. He breaks one tackle, spins off another, and he is going to be all the way down to the 25-yard line. Steps out of bounds. Jamel Boyd, his first reception of the ball game, is a great one out of the backfield as he puts up and primes this Wake Forest offense to get into the end zone once again before the end of the half and perhaps extend their lead out to 5 scores here on the road. 4 receivers once again. Ward split off the tight end as a receiver off to the right side. As this one's going to be knocked down. It's like Merritt was targeting Bobby Larson. As there you see the cornerback a little bit shaken up that time. He thought, he was going to look at the film that time, see he had nobody around him. Perhaps should have tried to make a play on that ball. Instead, it's going to be incomplete. This time 2 tight ends for the Deacon offense. This one's going to be fired up the seam, down the sideline, and Charlie Sanders looks like he had a play on that ball. He was covering 2 guys at once. Bit of a mistake or perhaps some confusion by the receivers out there, as 2 guys were in the same vicinity. If they would have had one guy take the receiver, the other guy surely would have been open. Instead, it'll be 3rd and 10 now from the 25-yard line. This one's going to be fired, and the safety almost jumping in front of that one. So some poor passing that time by Merritt goes unpunished, as he threw some dangerous strikes that time. No interceptions, but the Deacons forced to go with a field goal attempt, and that one is up and through the uprights. First field goal of the ball game for Harold Allen, Wake Forest kicker. So no touchdown for the Deacons. It's still a field goal following the interception, as they now lead by a score of 31-0 here as we wind down the first half of this ball game. So there again, once we're highlighting Brent Bolden, the true freshman, 3 interceptions here in the first half, including a pick 6. As you see the West Virginia head coach quite unhappy with what he's seeing out of his offense here today. 13 seconds left here in the first half, as Collins will take this ball. A little bit of running room. I don't believe West Virginia will try to do anything with it. They will go in a bit of a hurry-up mode here. Maybe they want to potentially set up for a Hail Mary towards the end of the half. This one's taken by Simpson and dropped once again. Another drop by these West Virginia receivers. Just having a really tough time in the conditions here today. As now we'll see if West Virginia wants to try anything deep or if they're content to sit on this one. Looks like they will perhaps try to throw this one deep. Simpson with a Hail Mary throws this one up for grabs, and it's going to be knocked down. And that'll do it for the first half. Wake Forest in complete control as they'll go into halftime here on the road by a score of 31-0, looking like a true top 10, perhaps top 5 team in the nation, in complete control once again here in this ball game. So we'll get you into halftime. Take a look at our weekly Wake Forest player, and we'll get you set for second half action here in just a few minutes here on ESPN College Football here on Trev the Dev YouTube channel. We're here at the half, and this week's focus is on defensive tackle Bill Snyder. Snyder is a sports journalism major with a 3.7 GPA, looking to graduate in the spring. He's got the nickname The Wall, stemming from his high school days when he was one of the best players on the field, had a real knack for stopping the run up the gut. And he told us he is a regular saxophone player in his downtime. He loves old school jazz, and he certainly likes his instruments. Snyder is a bit undersized. Some of the pro scouts talk about him and say that his lack of true NFL size might hurt his pro prospects, but we're sure that he's going to give it a go at the next level owing to his outstanding production in college. Now let's get you back out to the game. Welcome back here to Milan Puskar Stadium here at West Virginia University, as we are here for today's game between Wake Forest and West Virginia. Here to start the second half, this ball is going to be taken in by Wilson. The kick return is going to be out to around the 30-yard line. We're going to have a clipping penalty here on the return squad. So instead of the 26, the ball will be set up at the 13-yard line for West Virginia. And that really tells you the story of today's ball game. West Virginia just shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly, mistake after mistake on offense and defense here in this one, as they could not get anything going in the first half, or as they went into halftime by a score of 31-0 in favor of Wake Forest, as they try to perhaps get some momentum back here on this first drive. Of course, that clipping penalty will do them no favors. That first half, of course, really dominated by the cornerback Brent Bolden. Had 3 interceptions by himself, including a pick 6 for the true freshman, having an outstanding Power 5 debut. So we've seen him make some nice plays here and there in the first couple weeks of the season, but really coming into his own here against a very tough opponent here on the road. Third down here for the Mountaineers, as this one's going to be driven down the middle, but a knockdown by Brendan Rogers, the senior strong safety, as the West Virginia opening drive of the second half fizzles out, as once again they are unable to get anything going. We looked at them in the first half as Watson takes this one in, and he's going to be knocked down around the 40-yard line, 10 yards on that return. But going back to that West Virginia offense, they looked okay their first couple of drives. They drove down the field a little bit, but a couple of interceptions, including that pick 6, as we just mentioned, really seemed to sap all the momentum. And since around the middle of the first quarter, they have really been unable to get much going. As now here comes the Wake Forest offense. 2 tight ends to the right here for Deshaun Merritt. This one's going to be thrown into Bobby Larson. A nice strike to the junior receiver as he picks up 16 yards on that slant route. Deshaun Merritt put that one in a very good position, as once again the Deacons very close to the red zone here, just about 30 seconds into the first half. They're starting off very hot once again, as this ball is going to be handed to Boyd. Takes it down, tried to get out, spin out of that one, only about 2 yards on that first down carry. We'll bring up 2nd and 8. We'll see what this Wake Forest offense does as we move down throughout the second half. Expect that they might get a little bit more conservative, especially with the conditions as they are. Don't want to put the ball on the ground too much. As another handoff to Boyd is going to be for 4 yards. Now above 50 for the ball game, as that brings up 3rd and 4, and inside the red zone once again here for this Deacon offense. Trips to the left here for Merritt. One tight end flanking, that is J.R. Ward off to the right side. Merritt takes a snap. He's got Larson on the slant route. Larson's got another first down on this drive. 11 yards on that 3rd down reception. And Wake Forest all the way down inside the 10-yard line to the 7, as that'll bring up 1st and goal once again. As Wake Forest approaching 300 yards of total offense in this one. Anthony Tucker in the backfield for the Deacons, as he'll take the handoff. He's got a little bit of space, couldn't quite push upfield. Still 4 yards, now down inside the 5. Spot that ball around the 3-yard line, and it'll bring up 2nd and goal now. As Tucker remains in the ball game. This time 2 tight ends set for the Demon Deacons. 2 receivers, Rich and Larson, to either side. This one's going to be handed off to Tucker. He goes in once again for a touchdown. Untouched this time for Anthony Tucker, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And the sophomore running back really making the most of his opportunities down around the goal line. as the extra point is up and good, and that brings the score to a total 38-0 here in favor of Wake Forest. And as we said towards the end of the the first half, but the Demon Deacons really putting their stamp on this one and showing the nation why that top 10 ranking was deserved coming in. Their first road game of the season, their first Power 5 opponent of the season, and they have really dominated on both sides of the ball here today. Let's take a quick look. This week's impact player is Charles Green, the senior wide receiver from LSU. Fans in Baton Rouge were expecting another breakout season after the wide receiver totaled over 700 yards. This season through 2 games, Green already up with 5 touchdowns, which leads the nation. We're going to keep an eye on him, see if he can keep up that prolific pace. Now let's get you back out to the action. See the defensive numbers here: 3 sacks, 3 picks for this Deacon defense. Playing very well here in this ball game. Again, they are really playing up to the conditions as opposed to what West Virginia has done. As Collins is going to take this one out of the backfield, he's going to pick up 7 yards on that first down screen pass. Nice tackle that time by DeMarcus Williams. The other cornerbacks, the number 1 cornerback, in fact, for this Deacon defense. We haven't said his name too often here today. That's thanks, of course, to the outstanding play of Brent Bolden, as this pass is going to be jarred free. Couldn't quite make out who that was on the coverage play. I believe it was DeMarcus Tate, the free safety. Either way, the receiver could not hold on following that big hit. And that very quickly brings up another 3rd down here for this West Virginia offense. Simpson looking downfield. He's going to throw it to Johnson, Brian Johnson, but he is unable to do anything following the reception, his first of the ball game. As Brian Clancy, the outside linebacker, able to stop him where he caught the ball. And once again, it's going to bring up a 4th down and yet another punt for this West Virginia squad. Ball booted away. Watson looks like he'll have some room as he is able to get 14 yards on that return. Joe Watson, the junior receiver, mostly does a lot of handles the bulk of the special teams duties here for this Demon Deacon squad. Sets up the Deacons on their own 44-yard line. This one handed off once again to Boyd. Picks up 3 yards on the first down rush. As they're 2 yards away from midfield on this 2nd and 7. 2 receivers left, 2 tight ends here for the Deacons. Ross comes in motion left to right across the formation. Ball handed off to Boyd once again. He's got a little bit of space to the outside, and he's going to have enough. He's going to pick up the first down, 7.5. He needed 7. As that'll pick up a first down and bring the Deacons inside Mountaineer territory. So again, everybody tight here for the Deacons. 2 receivers to the left. Ball handed off to Boyd. Another rushing attempt here for the junior running back as he's able to pick up 3 yards. It's approaching 70 for this ball game. As Wake Forest more than content to keep the ball on the ground here as we wind down this 3rd quarter of action. Offset formation, once again, we've seen this a number of times in the season here for Wake Forest, as Anthony Tucker's in the ball game. Tries to cut it to the outside, not quite able to get around the defender. Only 3 yards on that 2nd down carry, and brings up 3rd down now here on the 39-yard line. Conditions will not allow a field goal attempt from this range, we would think. We'll see what this Deacon offense does if they do not pick up the first down. Crossing route is going to be thrown to Capps, and Capps has another reception as he's been one of the main targets here. 5 receptions on the ball game here for Ron Capps, the sophomore slot receiver, as it's been his biggest game of the season so far, including that 49-yard touchdown reception early on in the first quarter. Shotgun snap here for the Deacons as this ball is going to be thought they were going to call a fumble. They'll say his arm was moving forward. A lucky break for the Deacons as that one falls to the turf, incomplete. And it'll bring up 2nd and 10 here now for the Deacons. Merritt under center, takes the snap. He's got a crossing route. That's Anthony Rich. Rich is going to pick up 7 yards. As now Merritt over 250 for the ball game. In fact, exactly at 250 for the ball game. As that'll bring up 3rd and 3, just a few yards shy of the red zone. Merritt takes a snap, option play. He's got enough for a first down. He slides down for a first down, and that puts the Demon Deacons once again in the red zone here on the 18-yard line. As this drive is chewed up quite a bit of clock as we are now approaching the end of the 3rd quarter. Ball handed off to Boyd. He's got a big lane up the middle, 7 yards on that first down rush. And that should be the last play of the 3rd quarter, as indeed it will be. So Wake Forest has been in control of this one from the outset, as at the end of the 3rd quarter, it is Wake Forest 38, West Virginia 0. We'll be right back here with more college football action to wrap this one up right after this. Getting late in this one here as the 3rd quarter has commenced, getting ready to start the 4th. Let's take a look at what's coming up on national television. Highlighted this week, a big matchup between LSU and Oklahoma. Top 20 matchup as the Tigers look to go into Norman and upset the Sooners here in week 3. A couple other conference games in the Pac-12 taking place. Again, LSU Oklahoma starting right around the end of this one. So we'll wrap this one up and then get you out to Norman. And we are back here in West Virginia as Wake Forest and West Virginia just looking to finish this one out, as the Demon Deacons really in control as they lead by a score of 38-0, as Merritt takes the first down rush, brings them inside the 5-yard line, as we expect that they'll probably finish this drive out with their number 1 offense, and we probably would expect to see some of the rotational players in the ball game here. As Merritt puts the ball on the ground, this one's picked up by the offensive lineman Kevin Anderson. That is the right guard. Picked that one up. I get credit for a nice athletic play. Didn't fall on it. Picked it up. Looks like he might have kind of tried to scoop and score. Couldn't quite get away from the tackler, however. And this one's going to be handed off to Jamel Boyd, and he is going to punch it in for 6 once again, as Wake Forest has now put up 44 points as they rumble in for yet another touchdown here in the ball game. And once again, just really in control, playing to the conditions of this one, as they lead by a score of 45-0. 6 touchdowns and a field goal for the Deacons here in today's ball game. As this kickoff is sent down towards the back of the end zone, and once again, not enough room for the West Virginia return man to do anything with it. So we'll see if this Mountaineer offense can come out of this game with any positives, as they have yet to put up any points here for the first 3 quarters of this ball game, including 1 drive here in the 4th quarter. And for the coaching staff, you'd really like for your guys to at least punch it into the end zone once here in today's ball game. As another dangerous throw, this one's going to fall incomplete. That's Jacob Young, one of the rotational defensive backs now in the ball game, getting some play here in the 4th quarter. that brings up 2nd and now 10. Simpson once again in the shotgun snap. Can't quite find anybody open. This time he's going to force to throw that ball out of bounds. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10. Third and 10 from the 25-yard line here for the Mountaineers. Pistol look here for West Virginia. First time we've seen that here today. As this one's going to be thrown to Collins in the flat, but he's going to be dropped immediately. That's Eddie Jennings. Once again, another play by Eddie Jennings out of the linebacker position. He's had Collins in his sights all day, and that one will go for a 3-yard loss. And once again, this West Virginia offense cannot get anything going as they are forced to punt the ball away. Watson is going to take this one in at around the 40-yard line. Nothing doing that time for Joe Watson, just 4 yards on that return. As here we take a look at the offense. Again, this Mountaineer offense had 111 yards in that first quarter, just 60 yards in the 2 and some change afterwards. This defense made some adjustments in after that first quarter and really has stuck it to this Mountaineer team following that first quarter. And that has been one of the primary catalysts as to why this game has gotten so out of hand here today. Now we see some of the reserves here. As Brian Hall in the ballgame once again. Seen him a couple of times here this season. As the blitz is on, he finds Ross at the tight end. Joe Ross, the freshman, saw him make a nice play early in the ballgame to pick up those extra yards and drag his defender into the end zone. Now in there for J.R. Ward as the number 1 tight end here, as he picks up a first down on that catch. It's going to be thrown to Ross once again. Back-to-back first downs for the freshman tight end, as he has looked impressive here today. He's a big physical tight end. Very imposing for a freshman, in fact. One of the bigger guys in the tight end group. So here's Hall. He's going to try to find his running back, Anthony Tucker, out of the backfield. Couldn't quite get the handle on that ball. Perhaps it slipped out of his hand. Of course, just his 3rd passing attempt of the ball game after sitting on the bench for so long. Rain soaked his gloves, I'm sure. That one falls incomplete now. Brings up 2nd and 10. As he's going to find Ross once again. And Ross can pick up 5 yards on that reception. As it'll bring up 3rd and 5. Ball on the 20-yard line. In fact, just inside the 20-yard line. So once again, this Wake Forest offense in the red zone. Just 3rd time today. They've had quite a number of big strikes. It's a play-action play. And a lot of pressure. It looks like the Mountaineer defense dialed up the blitz at the right time, as Brian Hall could not get rid of it, as that'll go down as a sack and bring up 4th and 17. Set up a 48-yard field goal attempt for Harold Allen. Drilled his first one from 42. His second of the ball game is going to hit the right post and no good. So this ball game remains 45-0 as we go around the league. Southern Miss with a bit of an upset. They take down Syracuse by a score of 42-39 as they go on the road to Syracuse and take down a Power 5 opponent. 6 touchdown passes for their quarterback in that one. Ole Miss and Georgia Tech knotted up 14-14. About 6 minutes left to go in the first half. Clark has thrown 2 touchdowns, both to Brown, standout wide receiver. In the SEC, of course, we know they have a number of standout wideouts in the Southeastern Conference. So just about 3 minutes left here to go in this ball game. Simpson still out there looking to find some positives. He's got Johnson down the right sideline. Big play this time for the receiver as he gets inside Wake Forest territory. A 27-yard strike to pick up a first down. His clock is running. This one's going to be play action. This one's going to be intercepted. That is Mike Neal, the 4th interception of the ball game for the Demon Deacons, this time by the senior, as Mike Neal jumps in front of a Simpson pass, and he knots the 4th interception of the ball game on Drew Simpson. And Simpson really hearing it from the crowd as some of the Boo Birds are out in force, as this Mountaineer faithful really upset with the effort and the results of this offense here today. Hall under center once again. Tucker in the backfield, the running back. Tucker is going to take this one. He's got a lot of space to the outside. Picks up a block, shoves a man off of him with the stiff arm. 26 yards on that first down rush. And Anthony Tucker with a beautiful run here on first down. As there you see, he just tells the safety to get off of him. A sophomore running back making a statement, showing that, hey, he can play. And we've known that. Of course, he's got a number of touchdowns here on the season. Well, once again, this is going to be a draw play to Tucker. Tucker with another nice lane up the middle. It's going to pick up 10 yards on that rush. And it's going to be 1st and goal now inside the 10-yard line, as clock runs down now inside 2 minutes here. Ward is going to take the rush. This is Josh Ward. And called his name here today, his first carry of the ball game, one of the sophomore running backs they've got in the stable for the Demon Deacons. Bring up 2nd and goal. Looks like the Deacons might want to punch this one in if they can. This ball's going to be handed off to Tucker, and looks like he was dragged down by the face mask. And it'll cut the yardage in half and bring up another automatic 1st down. Ball going to be spotted at the 3. Yeah, it looks like this Demon Deacon offensive coordinator really wants to get his guys another touchdown in this one, see if they can't get Tucker, perhaps Ward, a touchdown here before the game's out. So another rush, good push up front. Tucker's not going to have enough to get in. Ball did not cross the plane as they spot it at the half-yard line. So we are now under 30 seconds. We'll see if this Deacon offense tries to go for the push one more time. Looks like they will. Tucker's going to take this one, and he's going to get into the end zone once again untouched. Anthony Tucker, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game, and that'll put a bow on it as the Wake Forest Demon Deacons get into the end zone for the 7th time here today, as they are going to win this game by a very wide margin. And with that loss earlier today by the Florida State Seminoles, we might see this team in the top 5 come week 4. Of course, we'll be keeping a close eye on that one, as conference play is going to start very soon here in the ACC. And we know that this Demon Deacon squad has a very difficult schedule upcoming here this season. Couple of plays here for West Virginia to round this one out. So they're going to hand this ball off to Collins. He's going to take it upfield. He picks up a 1st down. See if West Virginia wants to run a few more plays here. And indeed, looks like they will. Just trying to get some yards here before the end of the game. So another screen pass this time, as Collins, as he has been so many times here today, is going to be dragged down in the backfield by the senior linebacker, Eddie Jennings. As that one will do it. So a final score, Wake Forest 52, West Virginia nothing. A shutout by this Demon Deacon squad. An excellent game all around, offense and defense, and they really looked like a top 10, maybe a top 5 team. As there we see the player of the game, Brent Bolden, the true freshman, 3 interceptions, including, of course, that pick 6 early on in the first quarter. Really set the tone for this one from the get-go. Again, final score, Wake Forest 52, West Virginia nothing. If you enjoyed this one, feel free to leave a like, a comment, or a subscription. We'll be back next time. We'll see if this Wake Forest squad can keep it up, as they have really looked hot here in these past 2 ball games. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.